Yo, yo. So I just got back from work, and while I was showering, had an idea. Lo and behold, it is about social media again. And I've talked about social media in some of my other videos, as you might have seen. And so you might be wondering, why am I back at it again? Because there's a ton to break down with this. And I think I want to better articulate one specific thing that I think it's obviously wrong with social media. One specific reason why it's fucking a lot of us up. And um, so I love memes. Memes are amazing. You get off work, you have a stressful day, or if you're just bored, you hop on your phone, you get on Instagram or TikTok or whatever the fuck it is that you use, you start scrolling through memes and you see a lot of funny shit. And a lot of it's pretty, like, funny enough, like, beautiful. Like, there's beauty in memes. A lot of it's random chaos, and it's just really well put together that it makes every fucking person that sees it laugh out loud. Like, there's so many beautiful things about memes. And then that's not including satire either. Like, satire is all over in memes. Satire about the government, satire about politicians, satire about past decisions made by individual countries, a satire about some dumb fucking celebrity getting up and talking like they know how the world works, things like that. And so, in certain respects, memes can be a beautiful thing. And as a consequence, if you're just getting on social media to look at memes, then it can be a beautiful thing. But as with everything that's pretty nice, a little too much of it gets a little bad. And so this is why I one of the specific things that I believe is wrong with social media. And it stems from chronic usage. So if you're able to be pretty responsible, hop on once every few days, spend 10 minutes looking at memes, chuckling a few times, sending a couple to your friends, seeing what they sent you, and then you hop off and you don't look at them again for another few days, you go back to life with no issue, then that's fine, there's no real harm in that. In fact, there could be value extracted from watching memes. You're enjoying it, it's fun, makes you happy, and again, satire. You're catching up on what's going on in the world and you're getting in on what people are making fun of, and then you learn, oh, this one person fucked up, or oh, this government fucked up. Now I learned about it through a satirical meme. Funny enough, even though it's just a meme, they can be actually educational. So that's good, but that's not chronic usage. So what is chronic social media usage? And I think that it is, how I would define it is, again, this is very simple. This definition could probably change a million times, but I think generally speaking, chronic social media usage is when you are doing nothing. So when you're bored, you get on your phone instinctively, habitually. Or when you get back from work and you're drained and you're tired, you get on your phone, you start scrolling habitually. Or if you are waiting waiting for a text from a friend, or if you're waiting for your food to come out while you're out at a restaurant, or if you are in a passenger seat in a car driving with somebody, instead of talking to them, you're getting on your phone and looking at memes habitually. So it's kind of a habit, I guess, is chronic usage, is when it becomes a habit, where it's no longer consciously controlled, only done every now and then, and only done for short periods of time. It's when you get on and time flies and you're like, oh, fuck, I just spent an hour and a half looking at memes, and now the 5 hours that I have left of my day after I get home from work, an hour and a half of that is already gone, and I've done nothing with myself but scroll through memes. So I'd say that's probably chronic usage. Defined in a nutshell, would just be habitual usage of social media for the purpose of viewing memes. Now, a broad general definition of the issue that I thought of, a broad way of saying it is, if you begin to create a haven of comfort, a haven of pleasure and joy for yourself, the more time that you spend in that haven, the more scary the world gets, the more evil it seems, the more unpredictable it becomes, the more frightening it becomes, the more dangerous it becomes, and then the more you get to a place of believing that it's not even worth participating in it. And I think, sure, you should probably have to do some studies to figure that out. But I don't care. I think that's just common sense. I think commonsensically you can understand that if you spend more and more time just going into this haven of comfort you've created, be it shit food, be it social media, be it memes, be it movies, be it TV, be it YouTube, be it whatever, the more time you spend in that that haven of comfort, the more unpredictable and strange and I just don't want to go back to the real world it becomes, because you have to really suck yourself out of the cycle of consumerism that you've fallen into with whatever it is that you're ingesting. You've fallen into the cycle. You have to break yourself out, and you break yourself out finally from consuming endlessly. And then you look at the world, and it's just, God damn it. I have okay, 3 hours. I got to get to bed because I got work tomorrow. Don't really want to go see anybody. I'm just tired now. What am I going to do? Fuck it. I've just been on my phone. Might as well go watch a movie. It's some just nasty cycle that starts to come up. And so, yeah, I guess generally, as I defined, it's that safe haven of comfort that you create. The more time that you spend in it, the more dangerous the world becomes, the less you want to participate in it. And so I think what made me think of this is thinking about there's a lot of people, especially in my generation, that are like, you can see it all over the internet if you go and you read people's comments on specific things. It's like some meme about some fucking Ryan Gosling meme, right? They're hilarious. I love them. But if you look at the comments and look at the context of the memes, you actually like gather some kind of depressing truth about reality from them. And so this meme comes out of Ryan Gosling, and he is driving a car in Drive, the movie Drive, right? And he's all depressed and shit. And he's just not really giving a fuck about anything. And it's the classic, he's so literally me trope, right? Oh, Ryan Gosling's so literally me. And if you go into the comments of these memes, there's so many young men, especially young men. I mean, young women too, probably older people too, every now and then. But particularly young men that are like, dude, this dude's literally me. And they say it like ironically, but they say it enough ironically to where I believe it starts to become a truth. And so I think looking at these memes, you gather truth about a lot of these young individuals, these young men particularly, and it is that they don't really like the world. They don't really like modernity. They don't really like existing in this world. They don't necessarily even have very many reasons why sometimes. It's just generally the world feels horrible and feels disgusting and frightening and unpredictable. And that's what brought me to think about memes and social media and this haven of comfort that they create and the issue that this haven of comfort causes. And so that makes me wonder, okay, so there's a lot of young people that are really struggling, young men particularly, that just despise the world. They don't really want to exist in it anymore. They hate it. But they have all these havens of comfort that they can turn to when they're feeling these nasty emotions, to turn away from, to go ingest this comfort, and then to forget about the evils of the world or the disgusting aspects of it that they wish did not exist in all respects. And so this has me thinking, okay, how much of an issue is the world playing and these people's negative emotions towards it? And how much of an issue is it simply that they dive into these havens of comfort continuously and they are participating in consumerism endlessly? So that's the question. Now, of course, I can't answer exactly because I'd have to do a study on it. I'd have to do surveys. I'd have to take stats of people and map that down to figure out, okay, to try to decipher, okay, how much of the fault, okay, so young people feel really negatively towards the world, particularly young men. How much of a fault is it that the world itself is actually just shit, or that they are ingesting consumerism and then therefore they're enjoying so much pleasure in this world that they begin to view anything with difficulty in a more negative light? So I don't know for certain. But me speaking, just my opinion, I guess, my take, my observation, it would be that most of the negative feelings come from simply these people continuously pulling themselves down this portal of consumerism and ingestion and fucking endless cycles of dopamine and spurts of dopamine and joy from just consuming media, movies, YouTube, whatever it is, porn, whatever the fuck it is. I think that definitely causes the most feelings towards this animosity towards the modern world. And that's not to say the modern world does not have its issues. It really does. It really fucking does. I mean, like, goofy enough, I'm going to bring up kind of a goofy example. I've watched Naruto, base Naruto, all the seasons, and then of Shonen Jump, and then Shippuden. I fucking love it. It's goofy as hell, but there's a lot of, like, really beautiful episodes in there that are even better than some like indie movie trying to be deep, you know? Like Naruto actually is like a really good show. Excluding all of the filler episodes and everything like that, the main story arc is really fucking beautiful and inspirational. And one thing that I felt when I was watching Shippuden was, or even Shonen Jump, was the Hokages. So in Naruto, there are individual ninja villages spread all throughout the world, or all throughout the collective land that the story takes place in. There's tons of different villages, like the Rain Village, the Leaf Village, the Village of Mist, or the Mist Village. I don't know. It's been a while. But Naruto and his crew are from the Hidden Leaf Village. And in the Hidden Leaf Village, they have a Hokage, which is the general leader of the world. And he was fucking sweet. There's a bunch of other ones that come in as time goes on, but he was sweet. I love this guy. So the Hokage, he isn't some like grand politician that practiced, that learned how politics works all of his life, learned how to get lobbyists to support him, learned how to use his silver tongue to trick people into believing what he is saying to be true. The Hokage was one of the strongest, probably the strongest ninja in the whole village. The best fighter, the best defender, the most wise person, the most just down to earth, intelligent, and foreseeing individual in the village. Generally, that was the kind of person that gained the title of Hokage. Hokage, again, is the leader of the Hidden Leaf Village. And so he's badass. He can fight, he can beat the shit out of people, but he knows when to use it and knows when not to use it and knows when to use empathy and understanding and care to help create a better village. And watching that show when I was younger, I'd be thinking a lot like, damn, dude, this dude's sweet. I fucking love this Hokage guy. Why don't we have a Hokage? Why is our president, why have, like, since I was young, every single president that we had, it's like, damn, really? Really? I don't give a fuck about you. You seem to not give a fuck about me either. And you are running the country that I'm living in. And according to the Constitution, America is a popular sovereign nation, which means that the people are the leaders. Written in the Constitution, the people of America are the leaders. They have the final say. They are the ones that run the fucking country. So why the fuck do we continuously have politicians and presidents and congressmen and congresswomen come into power and then seem to just not give a fuck about us at all? They just seem to go and make decisions that they want to make without understanding or caring about the negative effects that it has on us, the people, without even giving a fuck about our opinions of whether or not we want this law, or whether or not we want to hear about this one thing or the other thing, or whether or not we want a war in Ukraine or not. They don't give a fuck. They just do and they do and they do in their own little special world of politics. And I think that's one of the main things that's definitely causing a bunch of this animosity towards life, particularly in young men, but across all genders, all age groups, everything. Particularly young men, though. It's definitely we don't have a strong leader. Like looking at like JFK, I'm like, damn, that dude would have been cool. Like RFK now, I'm like, damn, I hope the fuck he gets elected because he seems pretty fucking cool. You know, regardless of what you think about his views, at the very least, this dude's a fucking human. And by God, he actually wants to do right by the people. He wants to hear the people out, and he wants to make a better world for them, a healthier world for them. He wants to dismantle tribalism, to end this, so that people can return to individuality. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So hope to God he does, but another aspect of living in the modern world is this understanding that it's probably not going to happen, that politics is fucking crazy and weird in so many ways that we can't even begin to understand, that the good people, the good leaders that really care about us and want to do good by us, they get either corrupted by the system or they get pushed out of the system and pushed to the side and neglected because the media won't show their interviews or won't talk about their platforms in an objective light, and they share their own biases as the truth when discussing their platforms that these individuals that care for us are running on. Like, for instance, the Democratic Party does not want to hold a Democratic presidential debate. Isn't that something? America, a popular sovereign nation in which the people have the power and they vote for who gets to make the decisions on the laws that are passed, on whether or not we go to war, on how the economy is run. We get to vote for that guy. And the media that gives us information and educates us, or is supposed to educate us on world affairs, on our politicians, so that we can make informed decisions on how we are run. The media says, no, 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 I'm sorry, but I'm not going to let our favorite little candidate get into a presidential debate because we don't want him to slip up and say some dumb shit to make him look even worse than he already looks. We're not going to do that because we don't want to. We don't give a fuck about you, the American people, and whether or not you're informed, making smart, informed decisions on how the government's run or the leaders that you elect. We don't give a fuck. We have our guy that we want, and we're going to try to push him through because we want him. Because we give him money and he passes laws for us. Because we're a lobbyist nation, a lobbyist country. And that's how we work. Isn't that fucking ridiculous? So no wonder. The reason I'm talking about this is no wonder there's a lot of young men, a lot of young people, a lot of old people, a lot of people across all generations, all the sexes, the everything, whatever, all different types of people, but particularly young men. No wonder life is frightening and unpredictable and scary and pushes a lot of people out of wanting to participate in it. It's whack in a lot of ways, but by God, is it not whack in a lot of ways? So this brings me back to the original thought I had, which was, these safe havens of comfort that we're creating for ourselves. We're diving into them. We're getting into them more and more and more. We're consuming them more and more and more to escape the trials and tribulations of everyday life that the world itself becomes more difficult, more scary than it actually is. So now I'm imagining a world where these young men that are suffering, as I share that too. I do. I try my best to not get on social media, to not get on and consume things, to distract myself. I try my best not to, but I slip up too, and I end up hating the world a few times, maybe more than I'd like to admit. Hating it and hating a lot of things in it. But when you do get off of this shit, and when you do end the endless exponentially growing havens of comfort, when you end them and get rid of them, the world itself proves itself to be better than you thought it was, if that makes sense. That's a fact. I've experienced it firsthand. Like I said, I slip up. Like I said, I hate the world sometimes a little more than I'd like to admit, but generally, since I've worked on getting out of these havens of comfort that I have once created for myself, the world's proved to be a lot better. And as you begin to do this too, you begin to learn, wow, I have the ability to enact my will on the world. If I'm constantly consuming media and I decide one day that I'm fucking sick of it and I'd like to not do it, I can. You can. We all can. It's just a matter of saying, yeah, I'm tired of this. I'm going to fucking get rid of this. I'm going to start building my life up. I'm going to start making my life better. And then you do that. You push through and you do it. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's fucking scary. Yeah, it seems like it's not really worth it because you have this belief ingrained in your mind that the world's not even worth saving at this point. But you have to push through regardless, because you do end up getting to a point where you break through, where it becomes, damn, the world isn't as scary as I once thought it was. I have more power to do things than I once thought I did. And on top of that, I now have some sort of because of this discipline and this self-respect I've garnered for myself by proving myself, the world is now worth saving. And I believe it is. Because I want to have children, and I want to raise them in a world, and I want to give them the tools to exist in it and have more fun than I ever did. I think it's all it boils down to. Like, that thought is beautiful to me. And I think all young men should look forward to that too, being good fathers and raising good children for the world so that they can experience a better life than you ever did. Because life is really inherently a beautiful thing. It's a wild concept. Like, you and I are alive. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? When the sun goes down past the horizon as Earth rotates in this endless void of cold, dark space, expanse that goes on for infinity, filled with trillions and trillions of other galaxies, with even more trillions and trillions of stars and planets where life could possibly exist on them, on this fucking Earth. And when the sun does go beyond the horizon as Earth rotates, the stars come out and you get to see that. You get to see all of the other stars in our galaxy alone. And if you go to a no light pollution area, you can see the fucking galaxy, the ring of stars just fucking expanding for almost infinity, what it looks like, as you gaze into the heart of the galaxy. Like, what is that? And that goes on for infinity. That continues to go on, whatever the fuck that means. I don't even know what that means. None of us really know or know how to conceptualize infinity, the concept of it. We don't know how to fucking do that. We can't. Our brains are too small and the world's too big. Isn't that cool? Like, that alone is cool. The world's too big for our tiny little brains to understand. That doesn't need to be a sad thing. That doesn't need to be a scary thing. That doesn't need to elicit worry. Or that doesn't mean you have to try to figure it out. You can just say, damn, dope. That's literally it. Like, it's cool. Life is inherently cool and beautiful and worth living. And I want to have children and I want them to experience a better life than I ever could. And that drives me and pushes me to want to make the world better. It's hard still. It's never going to be fucking easy peasy lemon squeezy, but it does get better. And that's a fucking fact. And then when it does get difficult, after you've garnered, like I said, this self-respect and this discipline, and this like, damn, I'm an all right person, once you've garnered that by proving yourself, by getting rid of these things that have been killing you, and destroying your individuality and destroying your soul, then the difficult parts of life that inevitably do come and will never stop coming, they become exciting. It's a new challenge to overcome. You can look at it in a different light instead of it being this terrible thing that is proof that the world is bad and that the world is evil and that civilization should collapse. And that why the fuck should we even try? And I hope an asteroid comes and kills us. And oh, I hope the nukes finally fucking fly. Instead of thinking like that, it's like all of these issues that are in the world, those are things that they only exist because some other person makes them happen. And so you, as a person, also by definition, can make stuff happen. So if you really try, you can reverse things that other people are making happen because you can make stuff happen yourself because you are a human. And that is just a part of being human that you cannot take away from yourself. No matter how hard you may try, you can never take out that instinct away from yourself or that ability away from yourself until you die. That's the only way to stop it. You can cut off all of your limbs. You can still think. You can cut out your brain, but then you're dead. So, okay, you can gouge out your eyes. You can cut out your tongue so you can't speak anymore, but you can still think. You can still have thoughts, and then you can connect yourself to some fucking brainwave reader. Have them fucking read your thoughts. I don't know. As long as you're fucking alive and a human, by definition, you're able to enact your will upon the world. So, yeah, the world's worth saving. The world's beautiful. The way that you go about getting to a point where you can save it and also just save yourself is by destroying these havens of comfort that you have. Again, not easy, not a really fun experience, but you got to push through regardless. And when you do push through, eventually you get to a point where you're fucking glad you did it. You're just glad you did it. And you don't ever want to go back because now you see what it's like to have self-respect and to be able to enact your will upon the world. And you find that it's such a beautiful thing that you don't ever want to lose it. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. Again, memes are lit. Don't get me wrong. I love those fucking things. But chronic usage kind of makes things a little bit fucked, as I explained. So I'm not saying don't ever get on and look at memes, but try deleting your shit for a good long while. And then maybe if you want to look at memes here and there, if you're like feeling really inspired, like, damn, I want to look at some good memes. I've had a good day. I want to get a couple laughs in. Download Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. Look at memes for a little bit, then delete it again, and then go back to your life. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Yeah, deuces.